This is it. This is a happy moment. This is it. This is a wonderful moment. This is it. I have arrived in this moment, and the only moment is now. Each breath can be a kind of arriving, home, home, home. So let's arrive together, here and now. In that breathing, there is a large variety of thoughts, experiences, stories that you have about your life and about the world, the past, the future, all of it. Our meditation is that we come back to this breathing moment, this breathing experience. And on one hand, that's a training. We train the mind by returning attention to the breath and to a very simple, direct experience. And on the other hand, that's a kind of insight, an insight into the nature of the moment as it is, right? This moment as it is. And that is always the way that the moment is, just like this, not another way. So the training is very direct. We challenge ourselves. We challenge the body and the mind to sit still, to focus on our breathing, to get distracted, and then come back to focusing on the breathing. And when it feels very difficult to endure, to sit with that, to be at peace with that, even though it's very difficult, that's to endure. And then secondly, this insight, kind of a whoa man moment. Hey, that's kind of funny, right? A whoa man moment. That reality and life and everything is just like this. Directly, immediately, spontaneously, just like this. Before or after don't come into play. It's like trying to find the structure of a wave or the structure of the water. It's just water, bro. Yes. I grew up on the East Coast in many different areas around Washington, D.C. There was a lot of suffering growing up. I've heard that when my parents divorced when I was a young boy, that I was very angry, incredibly angry, at just maybe 5 or 6 years old. So, what brought me to Buddhism and what brought me to the spiritual path was definitely a lot of suffering. And that suffering within myself pushed me to resolve it, to figure it out, to be free from it, to kind of be free from myself. There was just this big ball of suffering, depression, paranoia, anxiety, anger, and how to get free from that, how to go above that. And Buddhism was a real refuge, a real lifeboat for that young man. Stillness kind of means silence. And silence doesn't depend on a lack of noise. Silence is there always, even in the midst of noise. Kind of like how space is always there in a room or in a cup or outside. Even an atom is mostly space, mostly empty space. So silence is kind of like that. The more that we can be open to the scariness, the feeling of fear when it comes up, and we can face that and be with that, we will get more freedom from fear. There's a very powerful mechanism within yourself, and this mechanism is to seek after something. So if you feel pain, you want to seek after pleasure. If you feel pleasure, you want to seek after more pleasure. And this can create obsession, lust, greed, fear, anxiety, constant thinking. So when we practice meditation, we connect with our breathing, and then we get very close, we get very intimate with this moment by moment human experience. And we don't run away, and we don't seek after something or someone. In that way, we train in meditation. We train the mind to not be always in a state of chasing after something, because chasing is a kind of running. And if you're always running, you're going to feel afraid. You're going to feel fearful. What are you running from? What are you running towards? What's really going on? So in meditation, we calm down the mind, calm down the actions that we take, the bodily actions, the mental actions, the verbal actions. We kind of put all those to a stop, and then we become intensely and intimately aware of this moment by moment experience. Okay? Yeah, Nathan, I mean, anything's possible. If you put your mind, this is the thing. If we put our mind to something and we're serious about it, we've got a big heart about it, and it's kind of connected to us being a good person and doing what's right to do, then don't be afraid of the challenges. Don't be afraid of the barriers. Don't look for an easy way for it to be or for it to go. It doesn't need to be easy. The challenges give us the joy of life, the freedom in life. But you need to become a good person. This person within you needs to become more and more good, more and more straightforward, more and more wholehearted, more and more aware of the negativity, and less prone to ignorantly acting out that negativity. So we're becoming more and more aware of ourselves as we practice meditation, and then we're more deeply making this decision to be a really good person, to be honest, to be open hearted and open minded. But we have to go through challenges to get to that point. We have to be willing to feel pain. We have to be willing to feel the suffering to grow and develop in the right direction. If we're just looking for everything to be as easy as possible, how are we ever going to develop? How are we ever going to experience anything wonderful if that's how we approach life? Challenges and not understanding things is essential to a rich, meaningful, interesting life. The more that we can embrace that without anger, without frustration, without just making up some story that's just not true, the more we can learn about what's really going on, what's really happening, what's the true nature of everything, no matter what. If I look into my mind right now, if I look into my life right now and think of, like, when's the last time I had to have a rock solid um like idea about someone or idea about some situation to take care of life, I can't remember. There's like this story writer in the mind that says, okay, who is this person and what are they like and how are you going to understand them and how are you going to deal with this situation and that situation? But really, I don't find that I ever use anything of that. What I really need to do is to be aware, to be right where I am, wholeheartedly, sincerely, with kindness. Never leave it up to chance. Do all kinds of good deeds, more and more and more. And for that matter, practice mindfulness at all times. Always come back to mindfulness of breathing and practice mindfulness with detachment. So, mindfulness as not someone, not some place, not some time, not some situation, just mindful, just breathing, just taking a walk, just standing up, just sitting down, just lying down, and go into that moment by moment. And then whatever art or whatever experimental work you're doing is going to be held up by doing limitless good deeds with mindfulness and detachment more and more. So it's not about one thing, it's not about one answer, it's not about one situation. It's how you're continuously approaching this life, this continuous life. So, how are you approaching it? What are you relying on? What are you taking refuge in? We should, one way or another, exhaust ourselves in doing all kinds of good deeds with mindfulness and detachment every day, more and more. If you're not doing a single good deed in your day, if you're not practicing mindfulness, if you're not open to the everythingness of every moment, again and again, that is beyond someone, okay, immediately already. Now it's not enough to just be very mindful and demure and not be like the other boys or girls, okay? That's a starting point. But you open up to this, and then there's the chance to challenge yourself, to practice meditation seriously, to do good deeds seriously, to detach, to abandon, to forgive, okay, to renew, to refresh, to resolve seriously and continuously in a large variety of ways. If you cannot challenge yourself in this way, then you need to find a community, you need to find a group, you need to find a teacher, and allow that to facilitate challenges in this way. Concerned with this, concerned with the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. If not now, when? Meditation is mainly about feeling uncomfortableness and being with that and calming that and relaxing that and enduring with that to face that feeling. You're sitting here, this is your life, and you feel uncomfortable. And then what do? Run away? Then your whole life will be about running away. Meditation is the chance to stop and practice mindfulness with detachment. The detachment means we're not running away. We're not identifying with that signal that says this is uncomfortable or this is painful. I need to run away from it. But we're just enduring, facing, being with, breathing with. And with each breath, we can know that we're doing something that is really good. And with each breath, concentrating and relaxing together, doing good, mindful, not getting attached, not getting twisted up. You don't give up. You don't get discouraged. You don't get controlled by that thought or that judgment, that story about what's happening. There's no judgment, and there's no period of meditation. We're not meditating for 5 minutes. We're not meditating for, follow your breath 10 times, rinse, repeat. It's right now. That's where meditation is. It's always right now, in this moment of breathing, in this moment of awareness. Okay? So there's nothing to get discouraged about. There's nothing to get thinking about. There's no goal in this. The goal is arriving, and as you are aware of your breathing in this moment, you are arriving. You've reached the goal. And now we abide in goallessness because we've already reached the goal. Just breathing. Breathing and relaxing any muscles in the face or the body. And just breathing. Just aware of breathing happening. how to reach the deep states of meditation, the special states of meditation. Number one, you have to be good. If you're being bad, then you're not going to get the special experience. So you have to prioritize goodness. You have to prioritize being good. Then you have to meditate a lot. And you have to meditate ideally with um, other people and with people who have been meditating for many years. But really, the specific deep states of meditation that we value in Buddhism, you reach those deep states, those deep stages, by rooting out the mind that is seeking, right? By diminishing, by dissolving, by forgiving that seeking mind, that chasing after mind, those states of meditation come into being naturally. I don't know. I don't really understand it completely, but what I can understand is the profundity of waking up from the dream of complicated thinking going on in your mind. You know, I mean, we get some anime idea about, like Dragonite meditation or something like that. But really, what could be more profound than the, laying in bed, depressed, anxious, confused, whatever, to getting up and having a mind that can step out the door into the sunlight and begin again? Literally, resurrection, right? Literally, salvation. So that is what is more paramount, more important. What a lot of people are talking about when they say deep stages of meditation is just some attachment that they have to some idea of some experience that happened. And was that experience this or that? Was it particularly profound? Only thing we know for sure is that you're attached to that, right? And so even if it was profound, well, okay, how did it affect you and how are you living now? How do you drink your tea? How do you practice your generosity? How do you follow 5 precepts? How clear is your heart? How true to your heart are you? Otherwise, it doesn't matter what stage of meditation you got. It may come down to an experience where the stages of meditation are not so important, but rather your willingness to show up, to be with what's happening right now, to refresh and restart, that is important, and to do so with kindness. There's only one perfect time for meditation. That's right now. It's the only chance you get. It's like, when's the perfect time to drive your car? Well, when you're driving, when you're in the car, when you're behind the steering wheel. Only for meditation, you're always behind the steering wheel, whether you know it or not. So being mindful, being aware of what's happening, moment by moment by moment, and breathing in and coming back to that awareness, coming back to that state of, you can almost call it a brilliancy, an aliveness, a freshness of this experience, any experience that you're having. And that's the time for meditation. That's the time to really be aware. And remember that you are aware, more so than you are a character in a story. Isn't that the case? That's why it's so beneficial when we can take time to go for a walk in nature, go for a walk in the woods, go for a walk in the mountain. Because in that nature environment, our story is easy to bow down to the nature power. The power of the sunshine, the power of the wind, the trees, the greenery, the animals in nature. When's the perfect time to do good deeds? Anytime. When's the perfect time to be generous? Anytime. When's the perfect time to stay close to your precepts? Anytime, every time. When's the perfect time to meditate? Every time. Continuously, again and again. You can do it. You can incorporate meditation into your business. That's normal. But you should incorporate generosity into your business as well. Giving, donating, sharing the excess. A lot of people have businesses where they have all these excess materials and then they just throw them away. So really incorporating generosity into your business plan is very important. And of course, meditation can empower anything that we do. You're not working to control your thoughts while meditating. That's not the work. You're being with what's happening. And for most people who are beginners on this path, the work that you need to do is to get connected and get concerned with the path. You got to take that arrogant little fool out of your head and shut your mouth and listen and do what you're told to do so that you can actually develop and have some progress. Okay? You need to practice generosity. You need to stay with 5 precepts. You need to listen to Dhamma talks. Okay, you can download the Plum Village app. Meditation isn't, meditation is not a coin machine, where you're trying to, every time I go to meditation and I put my money in, so hey, come on. Every time I put my coin machine in there, it always lets go of the prize. That's not how we approach meditation. That's not how we approach this path. Right? It's a game changer. It's a life changer. It's a slap in the face when you needed one most. So we've really got to take this as a bigger picture than just meditation, because meditation by itself, you might as well go for a jog. You might as well do some push-ups. Those are good things to do as well. But understanding what meditation is, understanding how we approach the mind in meditation, understanding this meditative way that we approach life is really essential. And there's prerequisites. Preliminary trainings to be able to meditate effectively. Generosity is a preliminary training. Precepts are preliminary trainings to allow you to start facing the mind in a more intensive and subtle way. It's meant to be a challenge. Shut your mouth, sit down, and meditate. It's good for you, right? It's meant to be challenging. That's where the development, that's where the growth, that's where the transformation is coming from. You sit that ego down. You sit that complicated thought machine down. You focus on your breathing. You don't do it alone. You do it connected to the Sangha, to Bhante, to other practitioners, to the Dhamma teachers you're listening to. You go about it in the right way. You go about it prioritizing generosity, prioritizing precepts, prioritizing doing good deeds, prioritizing mindfulness. So the refreshing and restarting is at the core of the meditation. You stay with it. There's no timings, and quite soon I'll be going into a personal retreat, and I'll be offline for about 3 months. So I won't be doing these teachings beginning in a couple weeks. So you can send me an email, you can give me a call, you can get all the contact information at our website, monklife.one, monklife.one. As long as you are practicing seriously, meaning you're practicing dana, you're practicing generosity, you're following 5 precepts, you're meditating, you're listening to Dhamma talks, then no, you don't necessarily need to have questions, especially in this kind of format, because I have very limited contact with who I'm teaching to. If you were in person, I might encourage more to ask questions and to engage. So you're following along, you're practicing, you're staying with the metta, you're staying with the practice. You're not looking around for somebody to fill your head with nonsense. That's on the right track. Okay? For beginners, how much time do they have to do meditation? Who says you have to meditate? How much water do you need to drink every day? You don't have to drink water. You don't have to meditate. I'm not here to tell you what you have to do. But if you want to get into meditation, you want to start practicing meditation, Shashank, I'd recommend you download the Plum Village app and just set 15 or 20 minutes aside every day to go through that app and find a little talk or a little thing, and then just spend time with that and explore that. You've got to be really serious about this to get concerned with all of this. And then it's that little mole mind, right? The mole mind is dig down in the dirt because it smells something there. It smells some treasure, smells some sweets. So it has a special nose, right? With little furs on it. And it digs down until it finds that treasure. And this is the approach that you have to take if you want to really get involved with this. Because how am I going to tell you what to do? I can't tell you what to do. What I can say is that from my experience, Buddhism is something very worthwhile to get involved with, something to pursue, and that I've been practicing Buddhism and meditation seriously for more than 10 years. And it's brought a lot of blessings and a lot of wonderfulness to my life. So I recommend people look into it if they're trying to figure out this life. There's no such thing as a daily routine. Tell that to Grandma Jenkins when she didn't wake up in 1974. What's Grandma Jenkins' daily routine? What's Abraham Lincoln's daily routine? So the point is that there is no daily routine. This is a moment by moment life and experience. And we have to look at what we're investing in. The Buddhist path is very simple: dana, sila, bhavana, taking refuge in the triple gem, the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. You have to try to dig into this. You have to try to invest seriously in generosity, to invest seriously in making the promise to stay with the 5 precepts. And then getting into bhavana, getting into meditation practice. But it all goes together. It's not just how do I sit down and meditate myself silly. Actually, that's not going to work. But it's getting concerned and involved with um, the path and those who are on the path and those who are experienced in the path and the teachings that go along with that. But as for where I live at a monastery in India right now. Okay, any final questions? Brooksy, is it selfish to want to be alone all the time? If we can make use of our alone time to meditate, to protect our mind, to listen to good things, listen to Dhamma talks, if we can make good use of that time, then it's not selfish. But if we want to be selfish, to be alone all the time, to watch Netflix and eat Uber Eats and, all these kinds of things, then that is not good. And it's better if we can find a group or a community to be a part of. Paul, is there anything you can do for me? Well, I am booking a ticket from India to the United States. So I don't know if you could help with that, but if you could, that would be very much appreciated. From India to the U.S. And you can send me an email about that. It is a human situation. So a lot of a lot of the benefits that I've gotten from living this life and devoting myself to it is contact with people that can cut through my BS, and not in a way of like judgment or conflict, but actually in a way of compassion and wisdom. And so when I listen to my teachers, when I'm face to face with my teachers or communities, I can feel that sword of wisdom, and I can feel and see that flower of compassion. And so the psychological troubles and knots and sufferings that we have inside of ourselves, it's not like Buddhism is just going to make those things vanish or go away or get rid of them or cover them up. Actually, it's going to bring light to those things. But it's finding out that the way that we deal with those sufferings in us, that fear, that anger, that greed, those delusions, is not with judgment, is not with control, is not with um, punishment or hatred, but is actually with compassion and with wisdom. So I'm happy to be a source for that online, as much as I can. And I hope in the future that will be, that I'll be in a better position to do that more. And if you want to become a monk, the way that I became a monk was by becoming a friend with a monk. So try to become a good friend with a monk or a student of a monk or what have you, and practice a lot of meditation, learn about Buddhism, then you could possibly become a monk. Okay, let's finish with the sharing of the merit. You can repeat after me. May all of the blessings that we have made till now be dedicated and shared out towards all beings. May all beings receive and rejoice in these blessings. And may these blessings be continuously and limitlessly offered out to more beings. May these blessings be used to liberate and to bring peace to all. May it be, may it be, may it truly be. Okay, take care, everyone.